we are all gonna age. Everyone is mortal, and as far as I'm concerned, and one day you will hit the 40, 50, 60 mark. And when you reach this age, your body takes one of two paths. Number one, either you were active in your youth, and when you reach 40, you don't feel all that different than when you were 20. I mean, you don't have the energy you did at that time, obviously, but in general, your body's not completely failing by this age. You are reasonably fit and definitely don't have any ailments or illnesses like the typical 40-year-old. This path is obviously the one most people would want to go down, but unfortunately, the wake up call isn't as pressing or as loud as you want to take action now. See, because lots of people, especially young people, aren't aware of the benefits of exercising and the risks of not exercising. And that's because young people feel fit and mobile without having to exercise in their daily habit, having to add exercise in their daily habit. So therefore they don't feel the need to do it. Everything is hunky dory. But the truth is, they just haven't paid the price yet. You see, you don't have to exercise. You can live a sedentary lifestyle for the rest of your life instead of having to deal with the pain of running or lifting weights. But there will be a price to pay when you're older, and it's a huge one. So, in case you needed a wake up call, I'm going to be very honest with you and tell you what could potentially happen, if you're willing to take that risk. So, the second path people take is the path of least resistance. They go to work, go home, sit in front of the TV, and they do it all over again for like a decade. By the age of 30, they are on painkillers for their back pain, their knee pain, and by age 40, they are on all sorts of medication, like high or low blood is a common issue I see. And at that point, you are just so immobile, the problem is beyond being fixed. Not physically beyond being fixed, but mentally. Okay, because by the age of 40, you have a set mindset around certain things already, like especially your habits. And it's very difficult to break that. That's why the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I believe that applies to most people. Not all, but most. And all of what I described, aside from, I would say, life threatening illnesses, it can be solved by exercise. Your body should not be failing by age 40. And what causes all of these issues is people's inability to prioritize their health. Your body becomes lethargic. You start feeling like you're always sick and you lack energy to do anything, especially when it comes to moving your body. You start getting all sorts of digestive diseases, from acid reflux to bad digestion, and your metabolism just gets really slow. Your body starts feeling like a body of an old person, so your core becomes weak. You lose all the muscle tone, especially, ladies, women, since we lose more muscle mass as we age. Your flat stomach starts turning into a bulging belly. You start getting man boobs, and for the women, thighs and your love handles just starts getting out of hand. You start eating too much junk food to make you feel happy. Since you do not exercise, your brain also starts getting affected in various ways. Like, for example, your brain stops producing serotonin, that's a hormone associated with happiness. And you generally just start feeling or getting depressed. Feeling low is now your normal state. And to overcome this depressing feeling, you indulge in binge eating and YouTube watching till you get addicted to it because of the chemical called dopamine that's associated with addiction. And this provides a false sense of satisfaction, because it's instant, like instant gratification. But as soon as you stop the activity, you start feeling depressed again. You lack any structure, any kind of discipline in your life, which makes you more lazy and aimless. It starts affecting your professional goals, and you lack discipline and will. So now your self confidence, it's just at an all time low. Your body is not in the shape that it should be in. You lack any strength. And by the time you realize this, you're in your mid 30s. Like I said, your mindset is already fixed. People making a change in like later in life it's not uncommon, but it definitely takes a stronger mindset to do that than if you were in your early 20s. If you are a male, your testosterone gets really low and you start looking older than you actually are, and you remain at the risk of getting diseases like blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, heart disease at a much younger age, and these can become expensive. So now you're paying a debt to these medicines that's keeping a body alive you don't even enjoy being in anymore. Like, that sounds fucking scary. I don't know. That's really scary. you start looking like a 40-year-old at the age of 28, just aging like crazy. And I cannot emphasize enough on this. You start aging very, very fast. Your bone density is not increasing as fast anymore because it can only increase rapidly until what, like your late 20s. After 30 years old, the bone doesn't only reduce the rapid increase, but it also breaks down faster than bone rebuilding. So, if you don't exercise when you are young, your bone density won't be thick. And then once you get like older, that bone of yours will just keep on shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And there are more problems associated with exercising, but I think no matter what you tell a person, if their mind is made up on not working out, if not improving their health, then it's not improving their health, then it's made up. You can only encourage, but you can't force. So, ladies and gents, I encourage you to please take care of yourselves in your youth. You'll be laying the foundation for a very, very strong tower as you age. And yeah, live long and prosper. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.